Hi everyone and welcome to the Inside Guide podcast. My name is Marion and my mission is to help you to empower your life and improve your relationship with yourself. Before we start, I want to thank you guys as each week I see the podcast growing with more and more subscribers and listeners. So if you like the message that I try to share with the world, the best way to support it is to share the show with your friends, subscribe to it or rate it 5 stars on iTunes. Thank you so much and let's begin. Welcome guys to this new episode on the Inside Guide podcast. I'm so happy to be with you as always, and today we're talking about how to be more yourself, how to stay true to yourself. So it's going to be a bit of a special episode. It's going to be more a reflection than, tips and tricks. But it's something that I thought for a while, something that I had to face, and I wanted to share with you this reflection. So I feel like we all have different versions of ourselves. For one person to another, we have this tendency to adapt quickly, to adapt ourselves, to adapt who we are, and we have different identities. With a group of friends, we're going to be, the funny one. With another group, we're going to be the crazy one, the strong one, the one who likes, to swim or whatever. So how to be more often yourself? So we have this ability to adapt regarding the people we hang out with. And I feel like it can indicate who we want to be in someone's sight. Who do we want to be more accepted? What are we ready to do to be loved, to be a part of a group? What are we ready to give up to be approved? How big is our need to belong? How important is our need to affiliate to others for us to sometimes even deny our values or take another identity? So if we think about it, and if we go even a bit deeper, we can say that we all wear different masks. We all have different versions of ourselves and different identities. For example, part of me is super strong and resilient. Another part of me is weaker and want to act like a little girl. Part of me is super wise. Another part of me is angry and tends to judge people sometimes. I know that, for example, the way I am with my partner is different than the way I will be with my family. And that's okay. All of this reminded me a notion that I am learning and experiencing in my individual coaching. It is the concept of duality. So, duality, it's when two opposing parts conflict with each other, two forces that we usually oppose and are in fact not that opposable. The best example for me is love and hate. I will always remember when I was 21, 22, I went to see a psychologist with all my chaotic childhood and everything. And I remember that I was talking to the therapist and I told him that I hated my stepmother. And he looked at me and he said, "Do you know that hate is not so different than love?" And now I deeply understand what he was trying to tell me. It is a bit like, up and down. When you think of it, you would not know what up is if you could not define what down is. And often we tend to oppose those stuff. So for example, before I had this tendency to say, I am strong, but I am also weak. I am wise, but I am also blah blah. And today, what I want to tell you is to swap your but for And it's okay to be both. I can be strong and I can be weak at the same time. I can be wise and I can have also moments where I judge people. I have ups and downs in my life, and it's okay, it's part of life. So we all have different masks. And I think that there's always a small percentage when we are in our what I call persona and not ourselves. So it's something, the persona and the self, that I talked about in the episode 6, how to stop worrying about what others think. And I really encourage you to go and listen to it if you enjoy this episode too, because I think they're really related. So we all have this small percentage when we are in our persona. So the persona is how we present to the world. We couldn't be 100% in our true self. Otherwise, we would be very weird. We couldn't always, say what we think, say what we feel. There's always like a tiny, tiny percentage where we kind of have to adapt. Otherwise, we would like sometimes, react like kids. We would be weird and we would probably end up alone. So that's okay. That's normal to sometimes, adapt according situation and people. However, the question that I have today is how happy are you to wear your mask? Do you relate to those? Or do you pretend to be someone else to be accepted? Are we more loved when we wear those masks? And do they serve us or do they hinder us? I know that I had this tendency before, and I still have it a bit sometimes, to downplay myself, to diminish my happiness, to diminish my growth, to diminish my successes. And when I started to travel, I really felt the difference. I really felt like I was becoming happier. I was growing. I was, like I felt like so powerful. I had really this feeling, and I still have it that, everything is possible. And I had some friends that I had to stop saying over time because I knew deep down that I couldn't be myself. I had this feeling that I didn't respect myself, my values, my needs, and I knew that I would spend some time with them, and yeah, I couldn't be who I was becoming, and I couldn't be the person that I wanted to become. And any time that I spent time with them, I felt like I had afterwards a really bad self-esteem. I felt like shit because I was pretending. I was pretending to be interesting with some topic. I was pretending to, oh yeah, this is cool. And deep down on me, I was like, I don't give a damn of that. I don't want to talk about this. So now I know that I downplayed myself because I knew that with those people, it wouldn't match. I couldn't be who I really was because they would, you know, they probably would have looked at me like, what the hell? And they did. And this is why at some point I had to just stop seeing them. So I know that staying true to yourself can be really hard. It doesn't ask you to learn lots of notion. It doesn't ask you to know a lot of things, but it's hard because you constantly have to be close to your heart to kind of like ask yourself, okay, what are my core values? What is important for me? How can I embody them? How can I respect them more? What is my truth? What is the truth that I want to embody, that I want to share, that I want to live, that I want to speak? How do I want to act? And what do I want to say? What do I truly think deep down? How do I truly feel? What kind of conversation do I want to have? What are the people that I want to share with? So, we always evolve. Our dreams change, our needs change, our life change. And sometimes we think that we downplay ourselves because We feel like we accommodate people. And I had this reflection lately. When I am true to myself, when I am truly myself, if I am even more myself, what if it helps others around me? What if it inspires others around me? If I embody my dreams, if I embody my real ambition, if I embody my success, if I embody my happiness, my growth, what if it inspires my friends, my family, and people that just witness it? I know at first it might be hard. I know that at first a lot of people can feel triggered by it, triggered by this growth, this ambition, this success, this willpower. And if it's something that I learned during my personal growth journey, is that people will get more triggered by your happiness and fulfillment than the opposite. Most of the time, it's easier for people to be at your side when you're down, rather than being at your side when you succeed and achieve your heart's desire. But now I know that staying true to yourself, being even more yourself, is a heart gymnastic, and it is essential for you and for people around you, for the planet to grow, for humanity to grow. It will ask you to be brave. But what if true bravery was turning inward, feeling from within, and only then speaking out loud? This is from Glennon Doyle. Sometimes being brave means letting anyone down but yourself. Sometimes it means letting people think that you're a coward. Sometimes it requires you to let people believe you're weak. If you want to be more yourself, if you want to be more true to yourself, stay true to yourself. Learn to become at ease with saying that you don't like something, with saying that you don't agree with this, with saying that no, you don't want to talk about that it's not within your values, that you don't think it's interesting, that you don't think that you should focus on this, that you want to dream big, that you want to be happier. What if you disappoint people around you? What if you awake others' insecurities? Well, I want to answer this question by who cares? Never mind. As long as you don't disappoint yourself. So, my best tip would be to work on your own insecurities. The fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear of disappointing others, the fear of hurting others. It's not selfish, it's your responsibilities. And once I coached a woman that came to me and told me that she had this relationship with a girlfriend, and anytime that she tried to speak her truth, she felt really guilty because the girlfriend reacted in a way, blah, blah, blah. And so we really worked on you are not responsible for how people feel and react. The way you feel and the way you react is out of my control. Only you are responsible for this. So only you are responsible for the way you feel and the way you react. You cannot blame anyone else. And it's the same thing if someone tries to blame you for the way they react and they feel. Because they can choose to react in some ways. They can choose to be angry, they can choose to be frustrated, they can choose to be sad, or they can choose something else. They can choose to accept, they can choose to only listen, they can choose to not care. It's a choice, a difficult one, but it is. Accept all the parts of you. It's okay to be strong and weak. It's okay to be wise and angry. It's okay to be spiritual and to drink. It's okay to read book and use Instagram. Accept all the parts of you, the one that you love and the one that you like less, because they are all allowed to be in you. A lot of people want to find completeness, the state of being complete and entire. And I just want to tell you that it is something that you will find only working from the inside out, not the opposite. If you want to change the reality that you see in front of you, change the reality first that is inside you. And I know that it's hard sometimes. I had to face people telling me that they prefer the version of me before. I know it. And the more you will grow, the more you will become a better version of yourself, the more you will encounter people telling you this. Because when you do so, it awakes other people's insecurities. But you know what? Trust me, it's so much worth it. I would do it again and again and again. No regrets. Staying true to yourself is the most beautiful self-love act that you can do. It's the best self-care that you can practice. It's the best way to respect yourself. When you stay true to yourself, when you set clear and healthy boundaries, you give yourself love. And I want to finish this episode by a quote that I found on the internet. I don't know who wrote it, but I loved it. It says, what's important is that you stay true to yourself. Because when you enter the real world, the most valuable thing you can bring is all your you-ness. The world doesn't need another hot chicks, or tough guys, or smooth talkers. The world needs more you. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So this is it for today. It was an episode a bit special. I know that it was not like I didn't tell you lots of tips and tricks. It was just more reflection that you can think by yourself. I invite you maybe to listen to it another time if you liked it and if you want to reflect more. I hope that it inspired you to be more true to yourself, to be more often yourself, and also to ask you, who am I? What do I like? What are my values? How can I embody them better? I encourage you to be more authentic, to accept all the part of you. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. I hope it inspired you, and I see you next week. Take care and stay true to yourself. If you listen to the Inside Guide, is that you know that you have an extraordinary life to live, a life that is meaningful and impactful. It is my mission and my passion to help you creating it. If you like the show, then you will love my coaching programs. I will guide you to gain clarity on what you want to achieve and what you need to do to take the perfect next step. I will help you to learn what to do so that your little voice in the back of your head supports your life choices, so you can start to be confident and to overcome obstacles, so you can feel yourself moving towards the life of your dreams. If you want to have more information, I encourage you to visit my website www.mariansanfilippo.com/coaching. The link is in the description.